Hey guys, welcome to another edition of our daily challenges, and we continue on with diagramming the book Divergent. Almost done chapter 1, and here we have a few more from the kind of the later stages of the chapter. So again, starting off with just separating everything using punctuations, and here we have another dash, and then we got a period right there, then we got another period here, then we got a comma, we got a period, then a comma, and then a period. Okay. All right, so a little bit of division, and you can see visually what's happening here in this. Definitely something dramatic happening right there. And then we have perhaps a dependent and independent clause coming together, and likewise perhaps over here. So anyways, let's see. The first one should be fairly straightforward. We got definitely a small sentence here. So there's they, and we have should perplex. Okay, so this is a subjunctive right here, right? Because we see the should. And then again, we have another should in I should wonder. We'll skip past this for now, okay? Especially because of the dashes. There is a subject here, and it has a lot to do with the relative clause, which is that which part. Remember that we talked about last video? We finally see it here, but we will get to it in a minute. All right, then instead, we have an adverb instead. My, the possessive, and then I's is the subject. And we have cling as our predicate. Then we have train, whistle, so we're going to go to whistle. Train here is just modifying whistle as an adjective. And blares. Okay. The sound resonating. Now here we would expect to see a subject and predicate, but remember that this is just a participle because it does not have any auxiliary verb, so we're not going to touch this yet. The light, so there's the subject and predicate fixed. Now I see an end, but we see on and off, so we're not going to so yeah, this could be a predicate. Light fixed to the front. I'm going to separate that for now, and I'll tell you guys later why I did that. Okay, because this entire thing is describing the light. But the predicate is actually right here. So clicks, and then we have this another adverb, as, which requires a subject, train, hurdles. And squealing is another one of those participles that we've met before in so many different challenges. So this is essentially what we've gotten so far in our preliminary kind of look. And yes, this, especially here where it says the light, makes it a bit difficult. And we'll get to that in just a sec. So they should perplex, and the easy part here is the direct object is me. I should wonder. What should I wonder? Okay, so the verbs of wonder begin a completely new clause. Remember those indirect statements or indirect questions? This begins an indirect question. What type of courage? Okay, so what courage? This is our subject. Then I'll get to this in a second, but has, and then the object infinitive, to do with what? Ring. What kind of ring? Metal. Through, again, another preposition. Nostril, and possessive is yours, or your nostril. Okay, so in other words, what courage has to do with a metal ring through your nostril? Okay, and in between, the author very cleverly put together a dash, which is a very we would say almost a dramatic explanation, okay, of just what she said right here. What courage? And the pronoun, the relative pronoun here is very, very clear. So you see the difference between using which and that, right? You can see right away that which is referring back to courage, okay? and it's a subject in its own clause. And then we have which is, there it is. Do we see an ing after this? No, we don't. In that case, this is a linking verb. And virtue is a predicate nominative describing which, okay? Which they, so which is the virtue? That, or which, another relative clause, they, subject, value. And the adverb here is most. Okay? So once again, we see which, or relative pronoun not explained. But yes, you could have a relative pronoun within a relative pronoun. And that's why this is your own subject and this is your own predicate. So as we keep going, we see a lot of different things emerge, right? Continuing on has to do with metal ring, so we did that. Instead, my eyes cling. Clinging, again, is the verb. It's an action, verb of motion. It's very much not inclined to take a direct object. So what we see is a preposition to them. Okay, she's clinging. Instead, my eyes are clinging to them. Wherever, adverb. Okay, wherever is introducing a clause here, which means our subject comes right after this. They go. Okay. Next, the train blares and the sound resonating in my chest. So the sound right here, this after this comma, the sound is in one way could be a subject, but in another it's a predicate nominative describing the whistle. Okay, it's the sound. So the train whistle blares, the sound resonating, which is the participle here, okay, describing sound. And this participle is another predicate nominative, PN, and it's resonating in preposition chest. Whose chest? My chest. The light, and this is where we get to this part here, the light fixed the front of the train. So this is a perfect passive participle, which is actually describing light. Okay, so the light having been fixed, where, because this is a participle, just like we've seen resonating over here and in other examples, it will take its own direct object. But because it's been fixed to, preposition, the front, and who owns the front? The train. So that's a possessive right there. Okay, and only then, after we've used this predicate to kind of describe the light, predicate nominative to describe the light, we then get into the main verb or the main predicate here. So on and off is, in this case, an adverb, because it tells you how it clicks. Okay, as the train hurtles where? Past the school. And another participle, squealing, okay, right there, train, squealing, predicate nominative, on rails, and the rails adjective made of iron. So this particular challenge was probably actually quite challenging because of the fact that we see a lot of participles and how they work. Remember, in case you're watching this video for the first time and didn't have a chance to go back to the previous ones, participles are verbs turned into either nouns or adjectives. They could be describing a noun, and they're done because the author or the writer wants you to have an image in your head of something in motion or something happening at the same time, right? If I say the train hurtles past the school, squealing on iron rails, you're imagining the train squealing as it hurtles past the school. Okay, you see that imagery of one thing happening at the same time, or two things happening at the same time. If we were to separate it, like for example, if we say the train hurtles past the school and the wheels squeal on iron rails. So when you see this and you try to interpret that, I'm no longer giving you the impression of two things happening at the same time. The train hurtles past the school and then the wheels are squealing on iron nails. When it comes to comprehension and dealing with comprehension as you guys go through the grades, this is extremely important to be able to determine and answer questions such as what is happening at the same time in the story, or what are the two separate things happening within the story, and it helps you to better interpret what is happening. Okay, so don't forget these participles. Every single participle, whether it's a present participle like the squealing that we saw here, or it's a past participle like this one, fixed, it is going to be there for effect. And even this fixed verb right here, which is now a participle, is giving you the image of the light being fixed in the past to the front of the train. Okay, so you still get that imagery of something that is being explained to you that happened in the past. And then look how quickly the author transitions into the present, which is, oh, the light clicks. By the way, what kind of light? Well, I use a perfect passive participle right here to explain what type of light it is or where it is on the train in this case. Okay, so use these tricks when you're writing and see which things you want to keep together and what's things you want to separate in either your stories or your essays or your answers to really show your style, really show your way of thinking, and organize your ideas for the readers that you're trying to write to. All right, here we go. Verbs. So like I said, we've met two subjunctives right here. So we have a third person. They should perplex me. Third person, plural. And it is a, remember that to call it a present, a past, or a perfect or imperfect is very tough with subjunctives because they're always dependent on when this subjunctive is being expressed. So if we're looking at the context from the previous sentence, in our previous challenge, the author was talking about the present time, that there are these things happening now, and she used a lot of perfects in the previous example. That sets the stage for what the subjunctive is. If things have just been happening up until now, and they should perplex me now, and I should wonder now. So we got this called, I'll put this in brackets, it's present, but we typically refer to this as either a primary or a secondary subjunctive. Primary subjunctives are always going to be involved with things like the perfect tense or the present tense. The secondary subjunctives are typically subjunctives that are governed under the past tense, right? So things like I should have wondered about this in the past is an example of a secondary subjunctive. So I'm just going to write primary here. And it is a subjunctive. And it is active. It's an active subjunctive, which means it can take a direct object, right? And then I should wonder, in contrast, they should perplex me now, but I should wonder now, and it is singular. And it's still in the present, or primary sequence. Okay. Next, we got which is. So that is third person singular for sure. And we have a present simple, active indicative. Or, yeah. Awesome. Then we have they most value right now. Okay, so again, this would be third person, but not singular, plural. Okay. Then we have has to do. So courage has to do. Also in the present. So we got two of these. Third person singular presence. Instead, eyes cling. So the eyes cling right now. Here's another third person plural. Wherever, and then we got they go. So once again, third person plural. That's a third one. The train whistle blares. How many whistles? One. So there's third person singular. The sound resonating. See, we don't really need to worry about this as a subject and predicate. Like I told you before, this could be a subject in its own clause. However, because the predicate, it does not exist here, okay? Because I'm not using the sound is resonating in my chest. this is simply a participle. So this is taken both as a subject in its own kind of dependent clause, but it's also a predicate nominative referring to the whistle. Okay, so again, none need to worry about predicates here. The light clicks, one light. There it is. 4 verbs, third person singular. And then we got the train hurdles, another third person singular, 1 train, and that's it. So in total, we have 8 indicative verbs and 2 subjunctive verbs. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Today is Friday, so I'm posting my video right away before the day's over. So I want to wish you guys a very happy weekend. Next week, it's just about trying to complete all of our assignments that were given, and I'm still available for one-on-one coaching if you want to come up and spend some time to improve your writing, improve your English, work on the comprehension questions that we've been doing up to now. Please feel free. Here 10 to 12 pretty much every single day. Anyways, guys, take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.